Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to the ARM channel. We're here to talk again to Dr. Nii. My name is Shika Awuno, and I'm sitting in for Uche Noka, who is our regular hostess. Thank you, Uche, for a good job all the time. I hope I can stand in your shoes today. Now, today, our subject, Dr. Nii is going to elaborate upon it, and he's going to be coming online very soon as I get an okay from him. Thank you. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you. Welcome once more, Dr. Nii. We are here to drink from your endless wisdom, and today's topic is very fascinating. It's one that is very timely for our country right now. The coming of the Fifth Republic, because clearly from your suggestion, the Fourth Republic is not doing very well. It's in intensive care, and you have some fabulous ideas to put everything back on track. Dr. Nii, you are on the air. You're on the air. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Shika, and thank you for your introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, friends and sympathizers, we are here on our channel today talking about Cometh the Fifth Republic to rescue, resuscitate, and restore Sikaman, Ghana. This is a very important topic. As you all know, only on the 4th of August, that is about 2 weeks and a bit ago, there was a massive demonstration in Accra, and the clarion call was that of it for a new constitution for Ghana. In acute trauma, when somebody is severely injured, when the person is in coma, when the person is heavily traumatized, and the medical crew gets there, the first thing they do is that they take the person out of the site of injury. And then they resuscitate the person with the aim of restoring the person to the pre-trauma status. And that's what you do. In Ghana, my language, we say, Adamong me, mi afamong me. You do not stand among thorns and remove thorns from the soles of your feet. You got to step aside before you can do that. Once you step aside, your chances of removing those thorns are much, much improved. And that's what we are going to do today. People have asked for a new constitution, but what kind of a constitution? You all know that when I came into the scene, my main agenda is for a new constitution. That's what I've been saying for the past 20 years. Most people did not agree with me.
I remember when you started talking about this issue, people thought you were the madman from Australia.
Yeah, that's right.
But obviously, it is an idea whose time has come.
Yes. You see, to do justice to this topic, you have to understand. You have to understand the foundation of this constitutional order. You have to understand why we are where we are. Where did the Fourth Republican Constitution come from? You have to understand all these things. Let's see the first slide.
Just 1 second whilst I put the slide up.
So let's go. This is the first slide. Okay, we're speaking about Cometh the Fifth Republic to rescue, resuscitate, and restore Sikaman. The second slide, please. Good. Now we have to understand the foundation of our constitutional order. We all know that we had a 1957 constitution which gave us the independence. It was the Westminster system. Then we had the 19th Constitution, which was a presidential system. These two systems allowed multi-parties to, or they allowed multi-parties to operate. Then we had the 1964 Constitution, which was a one-party state. There was no official opposition. Now, so from 1957 to 1964, a period of 7 years, Ghana had 3 constitutions. 3 constitutions. Now, yeah, in 7 years, because of one single agenda. Because one man decided that the country must be his. So there was this gradual decline into totalitarianism, and that resulted in the one-party state. Now, so that is one picture of the Ghana as envisioned by Kwame Nkrumah. Next slide. Then we also have another vision of Ghana. And this vision of Ghana is Dankwa's Ghana.
Okay.
And that is one ethnicity state. So Nkrumah came with the idea of one-party state. Dankwa, if he had become prime minister and president of Ghana, would have come with one ethnicity state. Now, why am I saying this? Last week when we spoke about the battle for the soul of Ghana, I told you and I showed you what Dankwa said, or what Dankwa wrote in 1928 in the book he wrote for Akim Abuakwa, the handbook of Akim Abuakwa, in which he said Ghana must be called Akan land. So in his mind, Ghana actually is Akan land. I'm not going to go through that. Those who want to have a soft copy of the book, you can contact me and I will send it to you. Okay, so that you read for yourself. I don't want to waste too much time on that. But he actually wrote on page 38 that Ghana should be called Akan land. Now, and that was 1928. If he left it there, that would be no problem. But on the 4th of August, this is the book, the Akim Abuakwa handbook. Okay, on page 38, he's written a whole thesis why Ghana should go Akan land. Now, on the 4th of August, 1947, when he launched the United Gold Coast Convention movement, whatever, he said the same thing again. And this is what he said. We left our homes in Ghana and came down here to build for ourselves a new home. There is one thing we brought with us from ancient Ghana. That is 870 years ago. We brought with us our ancient freedom. Today, the safety of that freedom is threatened, has been continuously threatened for 100 years since the bond of 1844, and the time has come for a decision. Dankwa stood in front of the whole nation and said we came from ancient Ghana, when he knew at that point in time that only 43% of that nation was Akan, and only Akan people he claimed came from ancient Ghana. The Ashantis, which is the largest part of Akan, they have their own version of where they came from.
Okay,
but let's assume that. Yeah.
Okay, before we go any further, a question just came to mind about why these two opposing views in the history of Ghana are still playing into our present day politics, and what has that got to do with the need for a new constitution?
Okay, now it's still playing because you understand exactly what I'm talking about. If you read the WikiLeaks of Atta Mills, it said in the WikiLeaks that they had to make they had to take over NDC from Rawlings and make it an Nkrumah's party. And that's the reason why Rawlings hated the Tamils till he died. Now, you understand this, that when the Tamils came, the first thing he did was to make Nkrumah's birthday the Founders' Day. And he made it a public holiday. Now, when Akufo-Addo came, what did he do? He then went back and made 4th August, the day Dankwa claimed Ghana for Akan, a public holiday. So the fight is still going on. And it's very relevant. Go ahead.
So now coming to the need for a new constitution, because in my understanding, the 4th Republic's constitution that we have right now is one that basically gives too much power to the president, and therefore that power can be very much abused, and that is part of the big problem we have today.
Yeah. Now, and that is why this history is very important. You see, because when it got to 1987, and the pressure began to build on Rawlings to democratize, there was massive resistance, because it was very used to having power like in a one-party state. There was only one source of power. So then they had to create a constitution for him that would not be very different from what he was used to. So then the template was already there. Nkrumah had set the template already. So then they had to go back to 1964 one-party state constitution and look at how they're going to rebadge it to be attractive to Rawlings. And that's where our 1992 constitution is coming from. So you cannot say that you love Nkrumah, but you hate the 1992 constitution. That's what I'm trying to say. Because the 1992 constitution is a light version of the one-party state constitution. Let's go back to the second slide.
And I also have something that you might want to elaborate upon. Did you say the second slide? Okay.
The second slide.
Even though the 1992 constitution was brought about under the Rawlings regime and so on, who are generally considered more, favorable towards Nkrumah and Nkrumah's ideas, let's just, for the argument's sake. And yet, when subsequent governments came on, the different party, the other party that we have, which is the ruling party right now, they came on, they did not do anything to change that constitution, but enjoyed the privileges that the constitution offers the president. So nothing changed.
Yes. And that's why we need to go, but that's why we need to know exactly these two things about Nkrumah's view and Dankwa's view. You see, here, I'll comment on what you are saying, but then let me just say this for a second. The one-party state, what we have today is a de facto one-party state. You see, when you have a unity state and you have a winner-takes-all election system, you have a de facto one-party state. The only difference is that you have multi-party elections, but after the elections, the president has the power of a president in a one-party state. He could do whatever he likes. So that's why we need to know where this is coming from. Now, the subsequent governments that have come after Rawlings, as a matter of fact, and I give credit to Rawlings, he was the one who least abused the constitution. He governed the least number of parliamentarians, he governed the least number of ministers, he governed the least number of district assemblies, and
that's right.
He never interfered with the Electoral Commission. He was one person who least abused the flawed constitution that was made for. In fact, he never touched the number of judges in the Supreme Court. You see,
that's right.
They realized that Nkrumah had the power to sack the whole Supreme Court judge, the whole Supreme Court.
That's right.
With the one party state. This time round, they didn't give their power to the president. They gave the president the power to just keep appointing. So if a president loses a case in the Supreme Court, he can appoint 5 more judges, review the case, and he'll win. The effect is the same as though he had power to sack those old people who did not give the case to him.
Okay, so that is the background. That is the background to what we have. And for those who are now joining us, welcome once again to the ARM channel, where Dr. Nii, who is founder of ARM, African Reform Movement, is sharing his ideas for a vision for a new Ghana. And today's topic is about the Fifth Republic, how to resuscitate, how to resurrect, and how to restore. Sikaman is the name that he uses for Ghana because he believes that it's the less political name than Ghana is. But so, Doctor, should I go to the fourth slide where you actually start talking about the Fifth Republic? Here we go.
Yeah, let's go to the fourth slide. Okay. Now, so what I'm saying is this. For those agitating for a new constitution, the state is defined by the constitution. So they must have in their mind what kind of state they want, because that's what's going to reflect in the constitution. And I'm saying that we do not want a one-party state. We do not want a one ethnicity state. What we want is a fair state, where everybody will be part of the government, and every ethnic group will be part of the government proportionately. You see, what people do not understand is that Dankwa never had the chance to become prime minister or president of Ghana. But in 1969, when Buzia became prime minister of Ghana, he went back to the Akan state ideology.
That's right.
Out of 29 ministers and deputies, plus himself 30, only 6 were not Akans. 24 out of the 30 were Akans. Okay, in a country where Akans at that time were only 44%, but 80% of all ministries, including the prime minister, are Akans. It clearly tells you that he also saw Ghana as an Akan state with some minorities.
That's right.
Now, when you hear people saying "Yaji mine," and then account for, or the real owners and things, they are talking about an ideology.
That's right.
They are talking about something
an exclusionary that excludes others, that excludes the other groups.
Yes, and that is not fair. Now, the reason why Nana Addo's government is the worst in the history of Ghana is that he's combined the de facto one-party state together with the one ethnicity state. He is doing both at the same time. I mean, Kufuor did not ever think that you have to go back to 4th August and make it a Founders Day and make it a public holiday. The day that JB Dakwa said we have come back all the way from old Ghana, ancient Ghana, 870 years ago, claiming that Ghana was an Akan state, Kufuor never honored it. But Kufuor has gone back to honor it because he believes that's what it is.
Well,
and we can see the marginalization.
I think it's because
we can see the marginalization all over the place. What you want is a fair state. This is what I've advocated for ever since. And to start a fair state, if you are going to talk of multi-party democracy, then we need a fair referee. And the referee is the Electoral Commission. Every election, I mean, almost every election, we have people contesting and talking about rigging and doing all sorts of things. We need an independent Electoral Commission that is not appointed by a competitor, that is not appointed by a president. Okay, it is very funny that the president, I've never seen something like this before. I don't know how they wrote the constitution that they could not see that this is a massive conflict of interest. How can a participant also be the referee or appoint the referee? How can the chairman of House of Folk appoint the referee, the linesman, the match commissioner for a match between Hearts and Kotoko? But that's what we have in the Constitution. The president can appoint all the 7 members of the Electoral Commission, and they have to superintend elections that he is taking part of. We need a new Electoral Commission. And the new Electoral Commission that I have advocated for is going to be made up of only 5 members.
One second. Are we still on the 4th slide, or should we move on?
No, on the 4th slide. We're on the 4th slide.
Okay.
The new Electoral Commission. The Electoral Commission is going to be made up of 5 members. That is a representative of the Chief Justice, at least from the Court of Appeal, a representative of the government statistician, the Accountant General or the Auditor General, the IGP or his representative. These are the core people. For security, Electoral Commission deals with population and stuff like that. We need a government statistician there. The Electoral Commission has a massive budget and a lot of movement of money. We need either the Accountant General or the Auditor General there, and it's a paralegal institution. We need somebody of a high repute in the judicial system there. Now, these 4 people, they will choose their chairman, but I presume the chairman will be the representative of the Chief Justice. And then they will advertise the position for the Chief Electoral Officer. Now, the Chief Electoral Officer will then be appointed by this Electoral Commission. The Chief Electoral Officer is going to be like the Electoral Commission we have now. The new Electoral Commission is going to be like the Board of Governors or the Board of Directors, who are going to be responsible for electoral matters in Ghana. But under it, we have the Electoral Secretariat, which will be like the present Electoral Commission we have. The Electoral Secretariat is going to be headed by the Chief Electoral Officer, and he is going to have 6 departments. Now, this is too minutiae. The whole idea I'm trying to bring the new Electoral Commission is that it's going to be independent of the president. It's going to answer, the Electoral Secretariat will answer to the Electoral Commission, which will be made up of people with statutory officers, Chief Justice, IGP, Accountant General or Auditor General, and government statistician, and the one they will appoint to be the Chief Electoral Officer, or in today's Ghana, the Chief Director, equivalent of a Chief Director. The Electoral Secretariat is an equivalent of a ministry in Ghana. Now, once we have these, you go ahead.
You've talked about the EC, and on your slide, I see proportional representation. Another slide says another box says economic federalism, and then another one says the new Council of State.
Yes.
I believe that the new EC and the proportional representation are kind of linked. Can you move on to the proportional representation side?
The proportional representation is very important because if we want to break down one ethnicity state, then it's got to be proportional. So we have these to solve the 2 problems that I've spoken about before: one party state and one ethnicity state. To have to break down one ethnicity state, we have to have proportional representation. Let me just make it very simple. So, for instance, what I've suggested in my books is that after elections, we are going to have a parliament of 100 MPs. Okay, a parliament of 100 MPs. We don't need more than 100 MPs. And what it means is that 1% vote represents 1 MP. So after the elections, if Ashanti region, if 20% of the electorate came from Ashanti region, or Ashanti region forms 20% of those who voted, then Ashanti region will have 20% of seats in parliament. If Central region is 10%, then Central region will have 10% of seats in parliament. That is, Ashanti region will have 20 seats, Central region will have 10 seats. If Northern region is 15, whatever it is, you're going to have the same number of seats in parliament, so that no place will be overrepresented and no place will be underrepresented. Okay. Now, similarly, when it comes to ministerial appointments, we're going to make it proportional, so that each region or each state that pulls 5% of the votes will have one minister. So again, we are going to have, my proposal is we have 25 ministers. Okay, 25 ministers, 20 will be shared proportionately among the regions. So if Ashanti gets 20% of votes, because 5% vote is one minister, Ashanti will have 4 ministers out of the 25. If Volta gets 10%, it means Volta will have 2 ministers out of the 25, so that each region is represented in cabinet according to its size. This is the only way no president will have the power to appoint 50% of people, ministers from a particular region or for a particular clan or for a particular. We have to have a prescriptive constitution.
Okay, Doc, 1 second. Let me interject with a question that is related to what you just said. I have a question from Collins. He said, Labi. He says, if Rawlings did not abuse the 1992 constitution, or I guess it goes back to the comment you made earlier about Rawlings, even though the constitution was done for him, he was the one who least abused it, right? So if that is the case, then why can't we keep, his question is, why can't we keep the constitution and change the leader? Do you think that is possible? I mean, that would give us a better...
because Rawlings did not abuse because he had the discretion not to. Our constitution is too discretionary. We do not want a situation where it depends on the benevolence of the leader. Because as long as the constitution remains there, whatever a bad leader does is still legal. What you want to do is to have a prescriptive constitution that takes that power away, that discretion away.
That's right.
Yeah. So keeping the constitution and changing the leader, because once somebody gets power and the constitution is there, whatever it does becomes legal. Yes.
They go crazy from what I can see.
Yeah. Whatever the person does becomes legal.
Okay, now, Doc. So thank you so much, Collins, for your question. And because of in the interest of time, I want us to move a little faster. In this same slide,
let me finish. Let me say what I'm trying to say, because we have defined the 2 problems. We have defined one-party states and the problems that come with one-party state, and we've discussed one ethnicity state, and I've said that the proportional representation will solve that problem. Now, the one-party state, I mean, the what we have today, the de facto one-party we have today, is a combination of winner takes all and the unitary state. So to dissolve that de facto one-party state, that's why I propose economic federalism, because we have to break down the unitary state in a situation where somebody gets 50.1% of votes, and then that person appoints every regional minister, every district executive in the country, just because he got 50.1.
So what happens to the other 49? What happens to the other 49%? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's why we have to change the whole structure so that everything becomes proportional. With economic federalism, what it means is that we're going to have about 11 states, and these 11 states will have their own parliament, 30-member or 32-member parliament, that will be voted for by people in that state. They are free to vote any party of their choice to lead that
That's
state.
right.
So,
one second. So regardless of who the ruling party is, on the regional levels, you can have governments that are led by whoever party won in that region.
Yes. So that a president is not going to appoint government for a region in which he lost.
That's right. That sounds
But that's not
unfair.
democracy. It means that you have completely discarded the mandate of the people. You only got 10% there. So how do you appoint the government there?
That's right.
Okay, so that's basically what economic federalism means. We are not going to go into this because of time constraints. Now,
and also let me just say that Dr. Nii has a book on this very subject with this very name called, I believe, The Fair State, right? The Fifth.
The
Fifth Republic. Charter. Yes, the Fair State Charter, the Fifth Republic, and the book is available at the Book Nook. It's an online book sales portal or website. Once you go over there, you search for Dr. Nii and you see a listing of his books, and this book is one of them, and you can buy from Book Nook, BOOKNOOK. Thank you. So please continue.
All right. So that's basically, I've spoken about economic federalism in details in previous lectures. So you can go back to the channel, you can read or listen to all that you want to read. But today is part of the program to dissolve the two competing forces that have been struggling for the soul of Ghana. We have to completely dismantle the one-party state and its variants. Okay, what you have today is the Delta variant of the one-party state. It doesn't have the name of the one-party state,
okay,
but it functionally is a one-party state. Today, Akufo-Addo can do whatever he likes. Mama did whatever he liked. Nobody could do anything because after the elections, we ran our country like a one-party state because the president appoints everybody at every level. We got to break it down, and to break that one down is economic federalism. Okay, to break down one ethnicity state is proportional representation. Okay. And now
Doc,
to make sure,
I have a question. I have a question just to pepper your presentation a little bit. You talked about two views, two ideologies, so to speak, one led by the Nkrumah view and one by the Dankwa view, and you believe that it's still playing out. Well, now, when you talk about ideology and about, those two things, I believe that it's about the mindset of the people. It's a very deep-seated situation. And I remember talking to an uncle in this country, very powerful during the Rawlings, whatever, and he asked this question about, how are you going to deal with these two very deep-seated views and ideologies in our country in order to have a new Ghana, a fair state, so to speak. It is not something
I remember
that,
very well.
It's not something that is very easy to sort of predict in terms of how people can change their minds, because you're talking about people's culture and people's affiliations and things hurts. People were hurt in the past, people were excluded, and so on and so forth, and people feel like they are the owners, and feel like other people are encroaching. Yes.
Yeah, that is why I remember this story. I remember this very well because the person posed the question to you and you told me. Now, and that is why when I look back, I realized that no contesting any election in Ghana until now is a blessing in disguise. Because the country in 2016, when this person posed this question to you, I remember very well, it was 29th August 2016. I still have it on my phone. At that time, the country was not ready to listen to a new constitution. But today, on the 4th of August 2021, people went to this massive demonstration, and what they were asking for was a new constitution.
That's right.
In actual fact, once somebody said that the first, the second, and the third Republican constitutions were overthrown by military people. But this one is going to be done through the voice of the people.
That's right.
So people are ready to change the constitution. Now, they don't know what they are looking for. They just are fed up with the government and therefore the constitution. And now I'm telling them that if they want to know why we are where we are, these are the reasons. Your uncle, he understands exactly what I'm saying today, that these are the strongholds in the country. Emotionally, psychologically, I can even say spiritually, these are the strongholds the people look up to. But now the people are saying that we are sick and tired of it. But you see, in the midst of saying that, people are saying Nkrumah's Ghana. Oh, is that Nkrumah's Ghana? Well, I'm telling them what Nkrumah's Ghana look like. You cannot say Nkrumah's Ghana in the same breath say you don't want the 1992 constitution, because as a matter of fact, this is slightly better than the 1964 one-party state constitution. So people will have to understand where we are coming from, so that if we have to change, we change properly.
Okay. So one of the boxes you haven't talked about, one box, which is the new Council of State.
Yes. The new Council of State. New Council of State, among its functions, will be that of senatorial functions, in the sense that a lot of high top statutory bodies will be appointed by the Council of State, not by the president, because we have to make them independent.
But how do you guarantee that those individuals on the Council of State also will not be corrupted by the fact that they have that kind of power?
No, they will not be easily corrupted, because you see, when you have 50 people in one room, now the Council of State, for you to understand why it's not going to be easy, it cannot easily be corrupted. The 50 members of the Council of State, 23 will come from the national government level, and 22 will come from state governments in the Ecofair system. Okay, the Premier of a state and the Speaker of Parliament of the state, 2 people will come from each state. So for the 11 states, it will be 22. And then you're going to have 5 people come from the National House of Chiefs. Okay, as original custodians of the land, 5 will become from the National House of Chiefs. 23 people become from the national government. When I say national government, I don't mean the executive. The executive will be presented there by the president, the prime minister, and 5 senior ministers, 7. Then parliament will come with 6 people, 3 from government, 3 from opposition. And they're going to have 3 members from the Supreme Court or from the judiciary, the Chief Justice, and 2 other members. They're going to have the Governor of Bank of Ghana, going to have the IGP, you're going to have the head of civil service, you're going to have the chief of defense staff, you're going to have the BNI director, you're going to have all these people coming together as the Council of State. It will never be like the council we have today, where we have 60% of them being appointed by the president and the chairman being appointed by the president. So all they do is to do the bidding of the president. This is a completely different one. Now you have to understand that the president, the ruling party nationally, could be a minority in the states. For in Australia, the ruling government in Australia today, the ruling party is the ruling government in only 3 of the states out of the 8. 5 states belong to the opposition. So when we have a Council of State with governments from different parties and different states coming together, it's not the same as the president appointing all these people. Right. It's going to be the nation at a glance. Every state will be represented by its premier and the speaker, and they may not necessarily come from the national ruling parties and national ruling government party. They will, in fact, if we have that today, you realize that only 7 states will be represented by the ruling government. If we have that.
Okay, so Doc, very clear. Thank you. Can we move to the next slide? I'm keeping tabs on your time.
No, this is very important. So we are going to move to the next one. So how will these things happen? We've got all things are possible. The Free Republic. Okay, next slide.
Oh, you got it? Should I move to the next slide?
Yes.
There you go. Oh, It's a repeated.
No, it's not.
How
It's,
do we
it's
end?
very different.
Okay. Right.
How
So
do
go
we
ahead.
end the Fourth Republic? Can we? And the answer
Yes.
is yes, we can. We created the Fourth Republic. We own the 1992 Constitution. Now, I brought this slide in because some people are saying that the guy who said that the voice of the people will abrogate the Constitution has committed treason because the Constitution is talking about overthrowing the Constitution. Well, that is actually not true. What I want to say is this. People will have to understand what a constitution is or what our constitution is. And I will show them exactly what the constitution says.
Mm-hmm.
The preamble to the 1992 Constitution, the preamble.
Doc, you're out of the screen. Can you just center yourself? Okay, thank you.
The preamble. I'm reading the preamble so people can understand exactly what the Constitution is and who has the power to change the Constitution. Oh, no. Preamble to the 1992 Constitution. In the name of the Almighty God, we, the people of Ghana, in exercise of our natural and inalienable right to establish a framework of government which shall secure for ourselves and posterity the blessings of liberty, equality of opportunity, and prosperity in a spirit of friendship and peace with all peoples of the world, and in solemn declaration and affirmation of our commitment to freedom, justice, probity, and accountability, the principle that all powers of government spring from the sovereign will of the people, the rule of law, the protection and preservation of fundamental human rights and freedom, unity and stability for our nation, we the people of Ghana do hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this constitution. We the people of Ghana do hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this constitution. Now, we own the constitution. The constitution doesn't own us. The government doesn't own the constitution. As a matter of fact, all powers of government spring from the will of the people. So if we say we are going to change the constitution, we own it. It's our property.
Okay, Dr. Nii, please, I almost spoke down. Let me just stop you for 1 second and ask you this question. What provision does the Fourth Republic Constitution, the current 1992 Constitution that we are under, what provision does it make for changes of this kind, or a change?
Totally, we don't even need that provision. Okay, like Jeremiah said, I don't even know, and I'm not even interested. You see,
okay,
because I own the thing. The thing cannot tell me how to treat it. I own it. It's mine. So that's what I deal with in the next slide.
Should I move on to the next slide?
Yes.
Okay. As we move on to the next slide, Collins came back with another question. Abigail said, highly educative presentation, Dr. Nii Mudaku. Thank you. Thank you, Abigail, for your comment. And Collins is saying that mostly, I feel that many people cannot link the flaws of the 92 Constitution to our underdevelopment, and also fail to link how ARM's Fifth Republic will cause development in Ghana. I'm not sure I understand the question, but thank you for your question.
People cannot link it because it hasn't become the talk of town. Okay, and that's what elections are about. Once
I think
the campaign
I think also what Collins is trying to say is that this kind of change would require a lot of public awareness.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because it's not become the talk of town. It's not become the talk of town because we are not in electioneering mood. And that's the next question. Okay, this follows from the previous one. I've said about the fact that we own it. So the question is that, okay, but how? How are you going to do the change?
Okay.
Okay, so I'm answering Colin's question from here. And I'm saying that 2024 will be one issue elections, the new versus the old. So for me, 2024, God willing, I'm coming there with one issue. Mind you, it's the people who adopted, enacted, and gave to themselves this constitution. So what Colin is saying, the 2024 elections will link the people and their present situation to the weaknesses of the 1982 constitution, and the Fifth Republic is going to bring to them the benefits of the new republic. So it's going to be.
Doc, before you continue, 1 second, please. We're at we will be probably rounding up around in another 15 minutes. I want to tell the viewers and encourage them that it is important. It's important to send your questions in now while we are live, so that Dr. Nii can address them whilst he is online. Because any questions sent after, when he's no longer online, if you go back and watch the video, may not be addressed. Thank you. Please continue, Nii.
So the main question is, okay, we've heard about the fact that we own the constitution, and as the property owners, we can do what we like with the constitution. We adopted, enacted, and give it to ourselves. But how? And I'm saying that there are many ways. So the guy who, for instance, said that they will use the voice of the people to abrogate the constitution, as a matter of fact, if they can use the voice of the people, put pressure on Parliament, for Parliament to go in there and make changes, they can change the constitution. It's the voice of the people. Yeah. That's one way. If that doesn't happen, 2024 is going to be one issue election. Okay, so now, if it is one issue election, and the people vote for one of the two issues or one issue, and they both vote.
So you said it's one issue election. What issue is this? Just to be on
the issue is the constitution. Okay. Is the new versus the old. That's what I've written there. So it's going to be a de facto referendum on the constitution.
Okay.
Okay. So because the people own it, the people are the owners of the constitution. So if we make the election a de facto referendum on it, on the constitution, the new versus the old, and the people vote for the new, the people have changed the constitution. We don't need any provision in the constitution because the people own it. The owners have changed it. So after the elections, the new constitution, the Fifth Republic that I have written, will become the subject of debate for the new constitution. Obviously, as a nation, others may want to add or take something from the Fifth Republic, but the fundamentals will be what will present people. Even vote for the fundamentals, that is a new order. The people can change their property.
Okay.
So we don't need any provision at all in the constitution apart from the preamble. The preamble says that we, the people of Ghana, we hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this constitution. If it becomes obsolete, if it doesn't guarantee the blends of liberty, equality of opportunity, and prosperity as supposed to do in the preamble, we can change it. We are the owners.
Okay.
And that's what the preamble.
So Nii, thank you very much. We are in 2021. The next election, like you mentioned already, is in 2024. Between now and then, we have 3 years to go. So give or take a few months. How are we going to, I want to hear your how is this going to happen? How is this? Is it going to be just a movement among the people in terms of,
Well, when the time comes for a change, when the time comes for a change, the change gains its own momentum.
That's right.
I'll not be able to run ahead of myself. What I can do at this stage is to say what I think has to be done, and to say that it is very, very legal for the people to change it because they own the constitution. This is the point I want to drive home.
Okay.
There is nothing about the constitution that says that it is God, is gospel, and it's divine from God. Okay, we adopt it. In fact, we created a framework for the government. That's what you say. In exercise of our natural and inalienable right to establish a framework of government, we shall secure for ourselves and posterity the blessings of liberty, equality of opportunity, and prosperity. We decide to do it that way. Now, if that framework has not given us these things, we are the owners who reject it. And we give ourselves the chance to have a new framework.
Fantastic.
And the only way we can do that is at the polling booth to decide again that we prefer the new one or the old one. In the name of Christ, within 7 years, Nkrumah gave Ghana 3 constitutions. So what are we talking about?
That's right. That's right. And look, I remember when you did a program, I forget the name of the group, but then you were brought in virtually with a group of people to do this.
Yeah, that was in May 2016. Yeah, that was in May
2016. I thought it was 2015. 2015.
No, 2016. It was Kathleen Addy who organized it.
That's right. And
Yeah.
I remember when you came up with this need for a new constitution, you sounded like, I don't remember the guy who back in the day was going around saying that the earth is round when everybody thought it was flat. It was exactly like that. And now, all of a sudden, not all of a sudden, of course, but people are now becoming aware that that could be the genesis or the basis of our problems, and that changing the constitution could put things a little bit right. And now, there are some comments that came in, and one from Mr. Dompré, Pastor Dompré. He says the key to prevent corruption of the Electoral Commission is effective checks and balances.
Yes.
What do you say about that?
Yes. I mean, the corruption everywhere is checked by is minimized through checks and balances. But you see, when you are creating a body, you first of all want to know the core functions of the body and put the most appropriate people there. As it is now, the president of Ghana can decide to bring anybody from anywhere in Ghana into the Electoral Commission. Anybody. He's got a right to do that. There is nothing to say that this person has got this expertise, this experience, and this capability to perform the functions of the Electoral Commission. But when you have a system, it's a paralegal institution. So you want somebody high up in the judiciary who has dealt with these things so that we limit the litigations and the legal issues involved with this thing. So he brings somebody there. Now, this is a matter of numbers. Okay, so you bring a government statistician there because they do the population cells, they know the number in district, and you have all that data there in your home because that's the person's job. Then you bring the IGP, it's a matter of security. You have one, so the IGP is there, it's part of the planning, his input is there. And you bring the auditor and accountant general because there's a massive flow of money in all these things. So he comes there and he controls the financial efficiency of the whole place. And then you advertise for the chief electoral officer with set skills, selection criteria, the things that you need in this person to head the Ministry of Elections or the Electoral Secretariat. He's not the president's friend or the president's nephew or the president's girlfriend or the president's whatever. You put it there,
right.
and these people interviewed eligible Ghanaians, and they select one of them to become the chief director of a ministry, except that this ministry is the electoral secretariat, and this chief director is the chief electoral officer. Now, this chief electoral officer is not a god or a goddess unto himself or herself. This chief director is the secretary of the Electoral Commission and is answerable to the chief justice or the representative of the chief justice, to the IGP. They appointed him or her anyway. Okay. So so we have all these checks and balances there, and it's no longer going to be independence in the sense of misbehaving, but it's going to be independence in terms of function. The Electoral Commission itself can sack the chief electoral officer if he's not doing his work well. He's not going to be president again, never again. So
thank you.
The key is checks and balances, but the fundamental thing is that it's not going to be selected by a player that's conflict of interest. And that's what we saw with Charlotte Osei and Joe Mama, and that's what we also saw with Akufo-Addo and Jim Mensah. It's as simple as that.
That's right. That's right. So thank you, Doc. Next comment is from Raidat. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing. Sorry, no.
Raidat. Now the local man. Yeah.
No. Raidat's comment is Ghanaian youth are calling for a new constitution, which is already one of the pillars of ARM. Thank you for your comment, Raidat. Like I said, Nii was talking about this thing well before anybody even imagined that it's even an issue or that there was a link. So thank you.
I mean, those who were with me on Gadangbe forum, that is a Yahoo group before WhatsApp and Facebook came. 2000, way back in 2000, at this platform, I was talking about it. This is our problem. 21 years ago, I was talking about it. Those who were with me in medical school knew that I didn't vote for the 1992 constitution because I rejected it in 1992. Because I told them this is the constitutional dictatorship.
You know, if you remember, we were having a conversation with my dad years ago, and we were talking about this issue, and he actually said to us that we have to understand it seemed like the constitution was a compromise of sorts, because here they were moving from a military rule and trying to transition to a multi-party democracy. I hope I said that right. And here they have a military president or a leader who is now going to become a civilian president.
Yeah,
and so
the word he used that we have to tease the bull from the China shop. That's the word. And this was 2nd January 2012. I remember very well.
So that constitution that was made was tailor-made for him to sort of get him out of the military thing or into this civilian democracy thing. And so it wasn't perfect. What he said was it wasn't perfect. And,
yes, he agreed.
Yes.
He agreed it wasn't perfect. But you see, it suits the Ghanaian elite mindset. So that when Rawlings left, if people really, you see, and that's why people should understand that the cause cannot be the cure. NDC and MPP can never be the cure of Ghana. Because when Rawlings left and Kufuor came, he had all the powers in the world to change the key areas in the constitution.
And mind you, he was complaining, they were complaining about this when they were in opposition. All of them. When they are in opposition, they complain about it, and they come into power and
they're one party. You have to understand that the one party power is sweet to the Ghanaian elite. Don't go too far. In 1956, in 1954, when the National Liberation Movement was formed and they were asking for federalism, that push. Okay, they lost the 56 elections. When they got power in 1969, they didn't bring federalism because they didn't mean it. If they really meant federalism in 1956, why didn't they bring it to 69? Because if they brought 69, they knew Bedema would have control Volta, and they wanted all the power, just like in Nkrumah. They knew that if they brought it, with the matter of 2 elections, Bedema would have taken over. So they went the same way the thing they fought against in the 56 elections. When they got the power to change it, to write the federal constitution, they did. And today,
why do you think they did it? Why do you think they did it?
They also wanted the whole power. They also loved the different one-party state. God, it gave them the power. I mean, we had a situation in this country where Rawlings, I put this thing on Facebook and people kept quiet. People said so many about Rawlings and his government to the point that you would think that Rawlings' government had 30% of accounts. But Rawlings' party, Rawlings' government, NDC and PNDC, has all its ministers, 65% of them were accounts. 65% of them were accounts, including a prime minister who was P.V. Obeng, and the most politicized first lady, Konedu, who was an account. 65%. But they were not happy because they are used to Bozier's 80%.
Well,
and somebody has to say it.
You know,
let me finish. Rawlings' last government, he had only 2 out of the 19 cabinet ministers as Evers, Victor Gbeho and Ubeda Samwa. Only 2. Only 2 out of them. Go and check today. Go and check first time. Only 2. But we think that out of the 19, Rawlings even had 10, which would be the majority. Only 2 out of the 19.
I see.
But people believe that the only way this country should move forward is that you should have 80% of one ethnic group, even though today only 47.5% of Ghanaians are accounts. They believe that you should have 80% or 90% of them in government. That's why people believe that we have to destroy it. The same way we have to destroy the one-party state completely. We have to destroy the legacy of Nkrumah. We have to destroy the political legacy of Nkrumah. We have to destroy the political idea mindset of Dankwa. And if nobody is going to say it, I'm going to say it.
Okay, Doc, we can see how passionate you are about this. We thank you so much.
Because they have destroyed our country. And let them know that the viability of Ghana was created in my house by Tetakwashi. They have to know that.
Okay. There you have it. Now Dole Coleman is saying, well said, thank you so much. I have to say,
thank you very much.
So do you have any final need? Okay. Do you have any final comments? Like to wrap it up? The
final comment is that the youth of Ghana, don't be intimidated by anybody. If you actually have said that the voice of the people will end the Fourth Republic, you have said it. And you haven't committed any treason because you own the Constitution. Okay?
That's right.
You adopted, you enacted, and you gave the Constitution to yourself because you believed that this Constitution was going to guarantee you prosperity, equal opportunity, and liberty. And it hasn't done that. So you can destroy it and get a new constitution based on the Fifth Republic and the First State Charter.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much. There you have it. Dr. Nii Amudaku's Fifth Republic, Cometh the Fifth Republic, how to restore, resuscitate, and put Ghana back on. Abigail has just sent a comment. Let's see. He says, this Abigail, thank you for your comment. It says, yes, Aku, the compromise was that was what we could have at the time. Many of us wondered when and how we'd be able to solve the issues when we had the problem. Thank you, Abigail. Thank you for that comment.
Thank you, Auntie Ajoko.
So as I was saying, we've come to the end of yet another rousing program with Dr. Nii Mudaku, where we've heard of his vision for a new Ghana. Once again, I'm Shika Wuno, standing in for Uche Noka. And let me remind you that this program is aired every Saturday at 11 o'clock Ghana time, 12 o'clock UK time, and wherever you are, you can adjust the clock and join us. Thank you so much. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you once again for a very, very enlightening presentation. See you all
the
next
people
week.
own the Constitution. The government doesn't own it. The people own the Constitution. They can do whatever they like with their property.
That's right. Thank you. Is that it, Doc?
Yes, that's it. We'll meet again next week.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.